Welcome to the breakdown. I'm your boy KJ, and in this video we will be breaking down Squid Game, the season finale, with a brief explanation of the ending credits. Let's dive into the first episode, shall we? Titled Key and Knives, we start off right where we left off as player 246 gets shot by Kong and telling him to basically pretend to be dead if he wants to stay alive. Man, talk about luck, am I right? Kong then agrees to join the organ plantation team, but we all know it's for player 246. We then cut to the guards bringing in our main guy, Gi-hun, after fighting and losing the battle in the previous season. Shooting over to Detective Wong and our buddy Choi, they're all on the boat looking for the mysterious disappearance of the drone pilot, who sadly died by Captain Park in Season 2. But the team doesn't know that. Choi, on the other hand, emphasizes hearing something suspiciously last night, but Captain Park persuades them to look the other way and to set back for shore as it's pointless and a waste of time. Man, imagine being stranded out in the sea and your team just abandons you. That's messed up. Anyways, back to Gi-hun. He wakes up not understanding why he's still alive, and he questions his own life, wanting an end to all of the inhumane lifestyle, but the guards just tie him up. The frontman watching Gi-hun cry his eyes out receives a call from Captain Park, where they basically decide if things go south and his brother's team gets close to finding the games, for Captain Park to end their lives permanently. Damn, that ain't no brother of mine right there. Once again, we're back at the voting process, but before we can see who wins, I mean, we all know we want more games, so there is not ever going to be more X's again.
Nice.
But we see the frontman talking to his management about the preparation they need to conduct as the VIPs begin to arrive. Back to Kong, she gets hit on by a creep.
Pardonnez-moi, mon chéri.
As she enters the organ dungeon, and we see the end of the voting process. Oh, that wasn't obvious, was it? Team Circle makes fun of Gi-hun as the crazy bitch player 44 talks some nonsense about the dead individuals who risk their lives for nothing, as if she's some almighty prophet. Gi-hun, not one to play, nearly chokes her out. Back to player 246 and the organ squad, we see Kong playing off her acting skills of appreciation for her admirer. But like any action scene, she turns on all of them, leaving just the doctor alive. Back to the players, we see Gi-hun trying to get some support from his fellow friends, but Gi-hun, simply lacking all hope, says nothing. I can tell you already, he had the easiest script this whole season, but I can tell you he has his eyes out for Daeho, so some hope at getting his revenge is there. Choi visits Detective Wong with some drinks, man say less, and come in. They talk a little bit about Captain Park, while Choi's still feeling off about the captain explains how he believes he's working for the pink team. Wong says no more alcohol. Boo! Just kidding. But back to the players, we see them prepping to get ready for the games as we are shown a quite disgusting, gruesome chandelier of the traitor players. Not a good housewarming gift. From there, we see the organ doctor explaining to Kong that player 246 needs a blood transplant, which she has, given that she has O positive or whatever type of blood. As the players walk into a room, they begin taking turns collecting different colored balls. It's a quite unsettling moment, as it feels that no character is safe this season. The players are then given the rules, implying that the red team gets sharp knives and the blue team gets keys to open special doors. Red team's goal is to kill a member of the blue team, while the blue team can either find their way out or hide until the remaining time ends. Honestly, which is better? Back to Detective Wong, he begins to get ready to set sail with his team as Choi calls him, telling him that he's not coming and is going to look into Captain Park's background and warning him to be careful.
What you doing, man? I didn't see you.
Anyways, back to the players, we see the crazy lady, player 44, ranting on again with her disciples. With this, I almost forgot to mention in the implied rules that the players can change sides before starting the games, and some characters do so. such as Junhee, who switches with Mungji, who promises to keep her safe after killing someone, and Young Suk, who convinces his mother that it's best that he take the knife given his mother's lack of strength to physically overpower someone. Gi-hun, on the other hand, ain't changing his sides as he looks over to Daeho with a fierce foreshadowing what's soon to come. Min-soo, our poor bullied friend, gets antagonized by Nam-gyu about his previous girlfriend getting killed. Poor guy, I swear, paid attention. He's going through a lot, especially in the next episode. As the episode ends, the players begin entering the games. Going into episode 2, titled The Starry Night, we start off with player 246 being saved by the doctor and Kong ending him as he proved not useful for her anymore. We then see the beginning of the games as Mungji teams up with Nam-gyu. Quite interesting plot given he's trying to be a good guy, quote unquote. Anyways, all the blue players begin working together in the beginning, but will this last? No. But hey, at least some of the players figured out that they can work together to open doors, hopefully trying to find their way out. Hyungju and Young-suk's mother, as well as Junhee, also find out that they each have a different key blessing them to all access. Let's hope they can make it, am I right? Back to Gi-hun, he fiercely looks for Daeho, but unknowingly almost kills a random player, 197, who he lets go, but he does notice Daeho a floor level down from him. Back to the backstabbers, literally Mungji and Nam-gyu. They get their first win together and continue onward. But wait, Mungji lost his Viagra. I'm playing. But hey, our boy Min-soo ain't going to let it go to waste, am I right? As he proceeds to take one pill. Back to our favorite girl team, Hyungju and her crew get chased by player 226. But in the process, Junhee breaks her ankle. Shoot, that gotta suck. Hyungji then fights player 226, knowing there is no other way out. She wins given her military training, shooting over to the most hated old man, player 100. He lets his partner 232 die as he closes the door on him, but he doesn't leave after his death. He goes and steals his key. Following after, the traitor team gets their second kill, making them both pass to the next round. But Nam-gyu convinces Mungji to continue more even when they don't have to. He again continues on a vengeful path, tossing his baby's mama's promise to go and find her and keep her safe. On the opposite side, Daeho manages to fend off an attacker, but sustains a wound to the leg. Young Suk, on the other hand, isn't doing too hot, as he's struggling to get his ticket out of the madhouse. He nearly fumbles, but player 203 saves himself by getting his ticket. Thereafter, we see our power team finding a room to stay in as Junhee literally gives birth, quite an intense moment.
Give me that!
It's each player for themselves, and the crazy lady proves this by letting her disciples die for her as she runs away right into the face of Gi-hun, who she evades by telling him where Daeho could be. Miraculously, the crazy lady finds the exit but doesn't have all the keys for the door. Ha, sucker. 10 minutes are left, and Young Suk is still struggling, not noticing the crazy lady looking for more keys. Player 100 nearly almost dies again, but tricks Nam-gyu by playing dead. He then teams up with player 44, and they both begin looking for the missing keys. Back to our power team, all in a moment of happiness until an intruder arrives. Yet again, we catch Hyungju fighting for her life and getting forced out of the room. She wins, obviously.
Get him up, let him get up, let him get up, let him get up. Fight back, nigga! Fight back, nigga!
And finds the escape room, but she needs to make a choice of leaving her team behind or going back. She obviously goes back, but sadly the ass Mungji stabs her in the back right in front of his baby mama. That's cold. He even leaves her. I mean, Matt, at least fulfill the promise now. Back to player 44 and 100, we see them find their way back to the escape hatch, but player 100 stops player 44 from leaving and closes the door on her. Min-soo pops out of nowhere and puts an end to her religious nonsense. She shouldn't have questioned him, am I right? Gi-hun catches up with Dae-ho, and at first he isn't compelled to killing him as he seems to hold back, but forcefully uses his anger and strangles him to death. Back to what's left of our power team, they too find the exit, but Young-suk is right behind them. He pleads with his mother to get out of the way as he tries to kill Jun-hee, but with little to any question, his mother stops this by stabbing her own son. Now that's sad. To end off the episode, the game ends and Gi-hun too wants to let it all end, but the soldiers stop that from happening, obviously. They also finish what's left off of Young-suk. Going into episode 3 titled It's Not Your Fault, we see guards clearing the remaining dead contestants with the first ever look at the VIPs' faces and their hand-on experience in the field. Man, I hate them so much.
Try me.
Oh, really?
Try me.
Really? This ain't gonna go how you think it's gonna go. So why don't you get the fuck out of my phone? Really?
Anyways, Nam-gyu finds out he lost his pills and begins to worry for his life as he pleads he can't survive without it, not knowing our boy Min-soo has it. The players see the newly added addition of Jun-hee's baby and the prize winnings. We then cut to the VIPs again, who in this season have cheap masks. Can't believe they didn't spend the money to get a better quality mask. The black jumpsuited man finds out his organ team hasn't reported back. He sends a team down to review as Kong and player 246 escape to their quarters. Choi, on the other hand, lets Detective Wong know that Captain Park's background isn't lining up, further alluding to his suspicion as he digs deeper. The voting process begins, and surprising, Nam-gyu votes to leave, while Min-soo knows he won't allow it and votes to stay. Young-suk's mother pleads to leave, offering up all her money, giving Jun-hee's baby, but no player is buying it. After the voting ends, the VIPs make fun of Young-suk's mom. Man, that's messed up. While this is happening, the black-suited headman receives his follow-up with his team, and they identify the bodies dead, and not knowing that player 246 is disguised as the doctor. Just before he can get the upper hand on Kong and player 246, Kong meets the headman in his quarters, and nobody's going to question you when you have a gun in your face.
I could keep doing this all day.
So the headman responds to Kong's deal to leave with no remorse, but he's not done, don't worry. Back to Young-suk's mom, she tries to give Jun-hee's baby a potato as she too gives up all hope for herself, but not for her. Detective Wong finds the previous island he got shot at in the first season, alluding that they are getting closer. As the plot continues, Gi-hun receives a heartfelt moment from Young-suk's mom as she asks him to protect Jun-hee and her baby. He promises to watch over her, but without actually saying the words. I'm telling you, the easiest script. Choi sneaks into Detective Park's house with his friend Mudong, keeping a lookout. He searches for any dirt he can find, but a dog stops him in his tracks. Choi acts fast, and poor doggy went night-night. The loud gunshot woke everyone else up, except Mudong.
Chrissy, wake up! I don't like this! Chrissy, wake up! Hey, hello? Time to wake up.
What a terrible lookout. Choi finds the evidence he needed, but the police show up to arrest him. Back to the headman, he asks for his organ team to do a further review on the bodies, and they find out that the doctor is actually dead. The players wake up the next morning to find Young-suk's mother dead. Poor lady, she tried so hard, but having to go before her son must have been tough. Anyways, they begin to enter into the next game as Gi-hun finally starts to speak, letting Jun-hee know he's going to protect her and her baby. But the VIPs pull a disgusting rule on them, letting them know that the baby must compete as well. Players see the next game, and it's a killer jump rope contest. Nam-gyu, worried for his life, finds out Min-soo has the pills. Before he can grab them from Min-soo's hand, Min-soo throws the necklace with the supposed pills onto the bridge. Nam-gyu begins the games and reaches his goal, but when he opens the necklace, there's nothing in it. His slow reaction and loss of hope leads him to be the first to die. Gi-hun then gives it a try, first taking the baby, then promising to come back for Junhee. He makes it across as all the other players begin to follow. However, before the episode ends, player 96 begins to play smart and is not allowing anyone else to cross the bridge by throwing each member off as they try to cross over. In episode 4 titled 222, we see player 96 continue to throw player by player off the bridge. Players on the bridge begin to worry, some decide to turn around only to meet their fate sooner. Gi-hun has enough of this nonsense and begins to threaten player 96 that he will be the next one to fall off if he doesn't back up. Player 96 backs away as more players begin to pass, while Mung-ji tries to regain Junhee's trust again by giving her help. It ain't working, and I don't blame Junhee, he's a traitor. Back to the contest, player 96 sneak attacks Gi-hun and loses obviously, but time is ticking, and let's just say not enough time. Don't think we forgot about our boy Min-soo. Yeah, he's on a bad trip for sure. Mung-ji crosses leaving his baby mama as she sacrifices herself, asking Gi-hun to wait behind and pleading he continued to take care of her baby. A quite emotional scene. Back to Kong and player 246, we see them make their way to this scapegoat that the headman promised her. Over in the VIP's club, the capitalist decided to let Junhee's baby compete under her number, which the players find out and question the guards given the unfairity in the rules. They almost attempt to harm the baby, but luckily they made it to where they cannot harm her. That's a good way to make it fair, am I right? Over at the police station, Choi confesses the reasons for his trespassing, but the police just ain't buying it. They end up contacting Captain Park, informing him about the break-in, blowing the safety of his crew members along with Detective Wong. In this moment, Choi asks for his phone call immediately and in a desperate plea calls Detective Wong as he gets chased by the police. Too late, Captain Park gets the upper hand on the crew and kills practically all of them. Just before Detective Wong spears him in the chest, saving one fellow member, he asks Captain Park for the location of the island, but not even his dying words are thoughtful. But Detective Wong is able to narrow down the field knowing the island is close. Back to the players, they have a magnificent meal, as Cringe's Player 100 puts it, and they vote to continue the rounds as our beloved baby sips from a bottle. They also receive some intriguing clues of the next game, basically implying that only 3 players need to die. So they create an alliance against Min-soo, Gi-hun, and the baby. The headman appears again, letting Kong know that her little secret is out and warns her what happens if she doesn't come back. As Kong docks, she parts with player 246, but the boat has a tracking device and warns the headman, so he sends guards to go after them. However, Kong has a better plan, I assume, as she legit begins to climb a tall mountain with no support straps. Damn, she must be able to do 1,000 chin-ups, cause that don't seem easy. Gi-hun, on the other hand, gets called to the frontman's office and finally meets the boss, but he's more upset to find out that it's his friend In-hoo, who supposedly died. The frontman gives Gi-hun a dagger to end the games, now ensuring the safety of him and his child, as he somewhat cares for them. Kinda don't seem right. As the episode ends, we see Gi-hun walking out with the knife, questioning his morality and killing the next players when they're asleep. In the following episode, titled Circle, Triangle, Square, literally, but anyways, Kong reaches her destination and breaks into the air vent, but before we can find out where she is going, we get cut off by the past, when In-hoo, the frontman, was in the games, and how the main host VIP, you remember player 1 from season 1, gave him the same opportunity to end the games with the same exact dagger. They make us believe at first that Gi-hun went through with the plan, but it actually shows In-hoo instead going through with it. But hold up, I thought the games were supposed to be fair this round. Yeah, they were never fair. Back to Kong, she again finds her way into the headman's quarters.
I'm back.
Demanding for another escape plan, but this time ensuring that she can't be followed or remembered. The headman agrees, but tells her that all the info she demands and desires is in the frontman's office, his quarters, meaning room. Cutting to the final games, each player trembles as they see these enormous skyscraper-looking pillars. Back to Kong, as she proceeds to go up to the frontman's room, she gets attacked by the headman and he gets the upper hand, but his stupidity and lack of self-awareness in the fight leads to his own demise. Back to the players, they must kick one person off before the timer runs out and must click the button before doing so. So in this specific round, they had first tried to get the baby away from Gi-hun, but worried for their own life, they decide a much easier route, and Mung-ji, being a clever antagonist, uses the pole in the middle to push Min-soo off, who accepts his fate in remembrance of his girlfriend. Kong, after nearly surviving, begins to look for the documents, and at the same time, player 246 escapes and fights off the guards who catched up to him, but luckily, Detective Wong pulls up.
Hey, what's up? We got a problem, Toothpick? I said, do we have a problem?
The players, on the other hand, then proceed to the next round, and not having much luck with Gi-hung as he defends himself and the baby. With this, Mung-ji then betrays his team, showing some level of support for his kid, as they both work together to push and attack every other player, especially the old brute player 100. Bye-bye he goes. But wait, they only needed one person to be kicked off on the circle platform, and the other guy took the easy way out. They darn fucked up and killed off every player, implying one of them needs to die in the next round. Going into the final episode, titled Humans Are, we see Detective Wong asking where the island is, and from there, Kong burning all the evidence. Back to the games, as Mung-ji enters the next round, he then again turns on Gi-hung like a snake and asks for his child, knowing he plans to let her go once the round starts, and to collect all the money for himself. Man, what a selfish prick. Gi-hung, confused and betrayed, does as he asks, but before the bridge exits, he jumps quick onto the platform and begins attacking Mung-ji. The two begin fighting, and Mung-ji uses his own child as leverage to gain access to the knife Gi-hun has. Gi-hun, using his karate jacket moves, fends off Mung-ji's attack. But the two somehow fall off the platform. Barely holding on, Gi-hun tries to save Mung-ji, but the jacket rips, leading Mung-ji to his death. The VIPs watching all of this are amazed and see that the game is over and that the baby is soon to go, but not quite yet. But before the best part, we see Detective Wong making it back to the original tunnel he escaped from, and Kong nearly almost giving up as she watches the ending of the games. As everyone watches, Gi-hun picks up the baby and says his goodbye, tricks the VIP members as he ends up sacrificing himself for her. Everyone watches this, they gasp. With disbelief, from the VIPs to the frontman to Kong, they all are surprised. In reality, his echo of passion and good represents his morality, that humans are not horses to gamble on, but much more, and it hit everyone to the core, especially the frontman. Sadly, this is the end, and the frontman gives the okay for an immediate evacuation. As Detective Wong realizes this, he rushes, but it's too late as he notices his brother standing on the platform with the baby in his hands. After all these unfolding events, we cut to someone breaking in and stealing all of Gi-hun's money. With this, we see Kong survived, and she meets up with player 246, who unknowingly questions if they knew each other. She also finds out that her daughter might be alive in China. So that's good news for her. I probably left that out earlier, but here you go. Choi gets out of prison after being locked up for some time and actually keeps Gi-hun's original building, planning to start a business with his traitor friend. I'm just kidding. Mudong. Detective Wong finds the baby in his apartment with the card carrying 45.6 billion won and questions why his brother did this. Se-byuk's brother finds his mother with the help of Song-woo's mother, who has been taking care of him since season 1. The frontman visits Gi-hung's daughter, and she seems quite unaware of the strange rule to me, but she takes the gift anyways, and without a trace, the frontman leaves. Gi-hun's daughter opens up the gift, finding the card full of all his winnings and his suit that he died in. Man, if I was given that much money as a kid, I don't think I would even tell my parents. Now for the final ending, we see the next selection of the games to be played in the US as the frontman looks perplexed, noticing Gi-hung's hope for humanity is long gone. Overall, can't wait for Squid Game America. I feel like we're going to get a musical chairs game or maybe some killer hopscotch. But hey, looking forward to what they will bring. Again, if you like this video, please subscribe and comment below on any future shows or movies you would like me to cover. AJ out.